Hello and welcome to the Seeking Heaven channel. I hope everybody's having a great day. And before we get to our intriguing guest that you're going to love, you're just going to love, and you're going to want to see all of it. Let me just mention a couple announcements and then we'll get going with our special guest. All right. So be sure to sign up for my newsletter, which is my Ascension School, Academy of Divine Wisdom. I have a free 30-minute Christ-like meditation, the same one I saw in the NDE. And I also have those of you interested that are suffering through grief or whatever, the southernbellmedium.com. You can check that site out. I also offer starseed services on my Academy of Divine Wisdom.com. And I have some courses and things paid and free, some really good ones. And finally, I have some Galactic merchandise that I designed, and such as I work for the Office of Christ and the Galactic Federation. That was my announcements. I'm going to bring on our guest. Let me tell you a little bit about this person. Super excited. And he is an out-of-body experiencer, a near-death experiencer, an abductee, a contactee, he was part of the super soldier program, and an ET communicator. And I have lots of questions for him, and he's going to tell us about his spiritual journey, how all this unraveled, and how he found out all these aspects and fragments of himself and where he is now. And he also invented this amazing device he's going to talk about with the Deams company. And it's a healing device. I don't know a whole lot about it, except for I feel it's a big act of passion to help humanity. And he's going to tell us about that too. So let me bring on Chris. Then how did you find out you were part of the super soldier program? I mean, how did that happen?
Yeah, that's interesting. That was kind of the first thing. I just didn't understand what it was. So
okay.
I was born in 1968 in Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
I was taken at 2 years old in 1970, either by the U.S. Navy or the Air Force. I don't remember exactly. I think it was the Air Force, but I don't have a direct memory that that's who it was. I just remember what they looked like. Mm-hmm. They took me out of my crib and we disappeared. And I was placed I was given over to a lab, some technicians, and I was placed in a tube that that caused me, it was like a gel. I was drowned in it. But it was highly oxygenated, so my brain body got enough oxygen, but I was still drowned. I mean, that's trauma, right?
Okay. So it was like a liquid. It was like a liquid goo.
It was semi-gelatinous, like Jell-O as it's beginning to set, sort of thing, and it was like a lavendery pink, purpley color.
What was the point of that?
Well, because that was my DNA in that gel. So they grow the gel with your DNA. So it's like it's you. It's just a gelatinous form of your physical material. And they inject that into the interior of your whole body. Mm-hmm. And then you're surrounded by it, drowned in this like acrylic tube sort of thing. And then what it does is it rapidly grows tissue. So it was an age progression. And I don't remember how long. I think it was like 4 or 5 weeks. But I went from a 2-year-old to mid-20s. So my body it grew that quickly. They brought me out of it, and then they unlocked my memories and other stuff. It's a long story.
No. I want to. So hold on, Chris. I want to make sure I get this. So, this is okay. So this was done through regression. What made you kind of just initially start looking at it? Did you have little things seeping through, or how did just the initial? Because this is wild stuff, and now it's starting to happen to me. These things, and I cannot believe I woke up and I meditated today before you, and I'm just gonna. No fear, just love, just, you know what I mean? You got to be in this place. And I saw go on to be in, and it was like a medical and then a cave. And then they put me in this. It looked like it was a goo water. And I'm like, what am I going to goo? But I remember it looked like a cave too. And they had lab coats on and observation. And I'm like, why now am I getting these freaking memories? And how do they close it down with people where they don't know? And how did you remember? Because some of us are like, I guess we're hard-headed and rebellious, and we, remember. How did they stop it? How did it open up for you? Did you see glimpses? And how does this all work before you go further into this?
Okay. Well, firstly, I've never forgotten being drowned in a tube as an infant. I'm writing all this in my book, so hopefully by next year maybe I'll have it all down.
Oh,
But
that's so great. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of detail, obviously. So I've always remembered certain things. I remembered being on a space station. I've always remembered that, but I was told, rightfully so in a way, that I'm just a vivid dreamer. I have a great imagination. Don't pay any attention to it. So I didn't for many years. So I always had these memories, but then until about 15, 20 years ago, they began to make sense, because then other memories would come up and they were like these separate memories, but suddenly they connected.
Yeah.
But, oh, now I get it. There's an actual, there's an actual story here. It's like, it makes sense now because these 2 points have been connected, and that's what's continuing to happen with me.
Still, it's amazing that you think, oh, there's no more left in there. It just keeps coming. It's amazing. It keeps coming out. I mean, the greatest journey, I always say, is in life is you. So you saw flashes like I've been seeing the lab and different, and I'm like, but I was like, that's crazy. And I put it away. Like, what does that mean? So you're saying that little sparks of things, and then it kind of comes together.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have regression on this to tie it all in?
I did go through one series of regression, but
how was that?
It didn't really unlock the primary memories. That was already there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I remember before I left service, I was in
I was there too. I know you look familiar because my last planet was Sirius.
Yeah. I was there I was gone for 60 years when they took me in 1970. I'm still gone technically. I don't get out of service until 2030. But it's on another timeline, which is a whole other story.
No, I got it. This is where I'm going with this. I got it, because you may need to explain that to people. But this concept I saw on Cosmic Disclosure, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Randy Kramer or Emery. I don't know. But about how they can take you as a child, right? And then I know there's a lot in between, put you into service for whatever they need, either combat on different planets or whatever, or psychic war or whatever, or information. And then it looks like you come back like nothing ever happened. Like they can put you right back in that time, right? So they can take you at whatever time, at 2 years old or 3 years old or whatever it is, and then put you into service and then drop you back with no memory, and then you continue on your life, correct?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Time travel is frighteningly easy when you know how to do it and have the right equipment. It's super easy. It is not hard at all, because all you're doing is it's frequencies.
Consciousness is connected to the conscious. I do it too. Yeah. I do it. Yeah.
Our brain.
I do it to help people, and I do things at night, like the light grid, and I do things to help people, because it's just, I didn't mean to, but because I've had so many NDEs, you're like, oh, I just connect to the right portal, just in your consciousness, and then you go. So, this is just a wild technology. So do you realize who are these beings that were doing this? Was it mainly military and humans, or was it humans and ETs together?
It was mainly humans, military. Yeah. But it was my agreement. I remember meeting with them as another being before I was ever born. And making
that is wild. Okay. This is heavy. Okay. So okay. No, I just want to track with you. So you're saying before you were here, as known as Chris, you were another being. You were in Sirius. Were you a blue-white being?
I'm not allowed to tell who I am.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, got it. Okay, I know. Okay, fine. I got it. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, you said, okay, I'll do this thing. So it was agreement. I didn't know it goes back that far. That is wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
When I said earlier about that we set our plan, and even though we know it's going to be sometimes really horrible, we already know it. And I remember standing there in front of a monitor, literally a monitor. I'm standing there going over it. We're putting in different scenarios to see how those would work out, because you have goals that you want to accomplish when you're here. And you set separate and different things to happen to see, will I accomplish my goal if I do this instead, turn left instead of right, or whatever. So I remember just looking at this and thinking, oh, that's going to suck. I'm gonna
That is
hate that.
funny. Yeah, this is why. Oh, you picked the fast track because you can pick the slow, medium, or I like extra credit in the fast track. So I'm always putting myself through the ringer of
Yeah.
whatever.
Let's just get it
So
done, you know?
just like, look, if it helps everything, let's just, like just rip off the Band-Aid.
Just
Um,
exactly
but
right.
not everybody's that way.
No.
It's a choice. But don't you think a lot of that has to do with our different people's commitment level? Obviously, we're all unity and one working together, and we've forgotten. But as we're here as individual fragments of ourself right now, that
Mhm.
that we have these agreements, whether it's fast track, slow track, or just being a presence. This is all helping to create, hopefully, a better timeline. Correct?
Yeah, that's why we're doing it. Because we're here. There are two different groups of beings that incarnate on Earth. One is native Earth humans, and one is everybody else.
Now say that again. Okay. Now wait. Okay. Say it again and explain. You just
Well,
threw that one in there. Go ahead.
I know I don't mean to do it. It just
No,
happens.
no, no. It's okay. It's okay because my dad's side, they're Cherokee, but my mom, they look all blonde. They're all like Palladian looking. But anyway, so tell me about this native thing.
So, native Earth humans began their soul journey on Earth, meaning they started as a single cell amoeba or something, and they've worked all their way up through the animal kingdom or the plant kingdom. Some of them people choose that, but mostly animal kingdom,
Got
all the
it.
way up until you're a human being.
Like caveman. I remember being a dinosaur.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? That because we've all the native Earth humans have evolved with the planet, have evolved in the process millions of years. People don't really like to hear that, but
Yeah, of course I do.
know.
I know. Yeah, and that's why I have such a vested interest here.
Yeah.
I really
Um,
kind of care about this place now.
oh yeah, I mean, I love Earth. I love humanity. I mean, none of us would be here except for those negative folks that have come in to be controlling. Those are not very many, but other than that, people come here because they love humanity.
Mm.
Now, what happens when a race, and this is, I'm getting to the second group. Okay, the first
Okay.
group is native Earth humans. And I would honestly say, I don't know that there's even 50% of everybody on Earth that's a native Earth human. I think most people on Earth now are not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're from other races. They're from other planets.
Okay,
That,
we're getting into the hybrid stuff. Can you
yeah.
move
Well,
into that? Yeah.
on a soul level, as a race evolves, once they've evolved to a certain place, which humanity is not there yet, but they're beginning the journey to leaving the planet, meaning they have the technology and the understanding and the heart and soul to go somewhere else and help another race. When you can do that, then you go help another race, because that's kind of that's part of the process of evolution as a whole race.
Yeah.
Is to go to another planet and help that race that's behind you in evolution.
It's the natural way.
It's the natural way of the universe. So
Mhm.
that's why we have more, my guess, I don't know, my guess,
Yeah, sure.
more than half of the population are people from other planets.
I can tell. They're different. I can tell when I meet them, and some people are just normal people,
Yeah.
and some people are light workers, but I can tell. Why is that? And can you speak about hybrids, because that's actually very general. That's a very general term. And then also, how does that connect into the DNA? Like, for example, I was reading in Elena Deanna's book about the blood types and about this certain blood types carry all the galactic races. Like,
Mhm.
and I noticed that a lot of O positive people are psychic and they have all the. How does that work? Why does this DNA and this blood stuff? Why does it matter so much? And why so many hybrids now?
Well, the short answer is it doesn't matter at all.
Okay. Well, that's easy. Okay. So, but what, but something evolved. So you're saying that they're incarnating here again. It could be, this is complicated because we
Yeah.
could still run that track on Earth and still have aspects ourselves that are galactic. Is so complicated. But you're saying that we're here to raise people that are of that, to raise the consciousness, because we need to do that.
Yes.
We are at that point. We need a little push, little bump, a little poop, right?
Well, the first thing we have to do is remember that about who we are, but that's
Yes.
the danger in say some other an alien comes in. I don't really love the word alien, but
I don't
another
like
race
it.
comes in and they incarnate because they generally truly want to help humanity evolve up to these levels that they can leave the planet, and they're introduced to all these wonderful beings. I wish everybody could experience what I've experienced, but they come in and they want to truly be helpful, but everybody must forget, it is the rule that won't change for now, that when you're born with your memory erased. Everybody. The journey is to remember who you are.
Yes. Amnesia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? When someone said you'll never know, I went, screw that. I am going to know.
Oh,
I am
you
going to
can
know.
know.
I'm going to know everything.
But you have to do
And
the work to remember.
it's a hell of a lot of work, and it's very uncomfortable with implants, whole track stuff, being on nasty stuff on the planet we've done to one another. And it's just, it takes guts.
It does. Because, as an entity that incarnates on Earth, when you forget, if you never remember who you are and you die, you're now stuck in Earth human reincarnation cycle until you remember.
Yeah. I mean, like, whatever you do here, good news, you get to take with you. The more you remember, they're like, wow, you really made it far. Next level, but I'm not going back to third grade again.
No,
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. Whatever it takes, I'm moving on. I'm putting myself out there. I don't care. Okay, pride, who cares, and move forward, because I think that there's something bigger occurring. There's a wave of consciousness of eager beings that want to transcend this crappy ass duality that we and be willing to investigate what would a pleasant new earth with love and where we help each other. What would that, I'm willing to entertain that.
Well, the thing is, I have seen future Earth, literally, because I was outside of time, right? I traveled there. It's from where I visited was absolutely stunning. Earth renewed itself and was as beautiful as ever. The trees were bigger. Everything was more beautiful. The sunsets were stunning and amazing. The buildings that we built were completely in tune with nature, and they were beautiful, and they were all glass and chrome, and it was just really wonderful. And there were no negative beings incarnating on Earth and coming to Earth.
Oh, wow. That would be a good rest. Wouldn't that be nice? What a break.
Well, growing up in the church, we called that New Earth. The New Earth.
Right.
So, and I used to think that was kind of BS, but then when I dropped all my religious stuff quite a few years ago, and I told God, I'm like, you may judge me for this, but I got to just not believe in you for a while, because it doesn't make sense.
Well, you put it on the shelf, you learn other stuff, and then you go, it's not what we've been told. There's an awful lot of dogma, and it takes courage to put wherever someone is raised, whatever part of the world your dogma on hold, to just observe.
Yeah. And you have to be willing to take the punches, but if you're thinking of your eternal soul, it's worth it.
Amen. I mean, come on. I mean, that's what it is. And only each person can do the work for ourselves. We can help each other, but we got to do the work.
We have to do their individual work.
We have to do our individual work. And I think so many people are awakening, and it's really fascinating to me, because it's not, there's gradual people that wake up at different levels. And I think, there's some people say the older models I laugh about, they're waking up at the higher levels. And there's those that are coming in, they're like, I'm awake. And they don't have to do all this crap that, that other people had to do. And they're here, they're ready. And then I see people that were kind of in a stupor, right? They're asleep. And then they don't go through all the levels. They wake up. They just wake up.
Yeah. Well, that's because I have even close friends that I try to tell them things. They're like, I don't know.
Too much. Back off.
Like, all right. I won't push it, but I wish you would listen.
Well, I know, and especially if you love people and you want to assist and help, but we're back to again, people that are willing to hear will have the ears to hear, and then you will help them that whatever information or like your book or just right now that's going to help them go to their next level. And I
Yeah.
encourage it because I do the work. I tell people all the time, even in my classes, I do the work. I mean, I put myself out there. I'm like, sometimes I go, oh gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm talking this. I can't believe I'm going to share this. But I have to look at it. It helps my soul and it helps everyone listening to remember if I can trigger their memory.
Mhm.
Right? So
Anything to spark that. Yeah.
anything, and that's for all of us. If we're all doing, I have people spark things with me. I spark things with them.
Oh,
It's like back and forth. I mean, it's a mutual thing. So getting back to this program you agreed to, and what was the basic overall mission? Just to help humanity evolve?
disclosure,
Okay.
disclosing, information that
Mm,
I promise you, all
okay.
those races out there are like, why won't your government tell the truth? Talking about any other government. Why don't you stand up to them and demand it? Like, you're in prison. Do you demand being released by a guard? They won't do it.
Oh my gosh, that's true. Well, but here's the thing, the disclosure, I mean, you have individuals that are making contact, alien, ET, whatever it is you want to call it, extraterrestrial, interdimensional contact from another dimension to many people. I mean, it's happened to a lot of people. And so that's the disclosure right there. And they're working with individuals and because so we can become enlightened ourselves to stand against the oppression
Yeah.
and the lies about the disclosure. And ultimately, I mean, you know what my vision is, I like the old timey Star Trek, even though the new one Discovery is really good.
Yeah.
I like the concepts on there, but it's when you have the gala and you have all the races and they're all there and everybody's interacting and they're playing nice. And some people don't want to get as involved, with other planets, but everybody's playing nice and everybody's part of that. And I just want to see Earth be a part of that and be respected.
Yeah.
And that's my that's my vision is that the planetary system, the Earth is a respected,
Yeah. I agree.
place.
Well, the thing about it is it's difficult to respect a kindergartner when you're so much more advanced and they keep behaving badly. That's basically what you're looking at with this scenario. Is Earth is a little kid. Not that they don't value that, and not that they don't see the beauty, and not that they don't love us. They're just, like, oh my goodness, their patience is long suffering.
We're like the cowboy that comes out shooting.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so so you essentially still are in the space program in this time continuum travel kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
So you agreed to this. Do you ever shift in your dream state or meditation state? Do you ever shift into moments of like, oh, this my other self doing this and that?
I have seen my other self.
Does it look like you or totally different? I'm just curious. Really? Well, my other self
thinner and more fit.
My other self looks really no, seriously. I'm thinner. I've had people say, "You come to me." I said, "Am I thinner?" I look kind of the same, longer hair, but really good. They're like, "Yeah," and I'm like, but yeah, and I've seen me with like the men in black, but they're not men. They're pasty looking. They're humanoid, and I was getting a microchip or something from them, and it felt very real. And I thought, I'm on a different timeline right now, and I'm on some running to get in some low flying craft, and I'm trying to get this away, and I don't, and I'm like, okay, what was that about? So that kind of stuff. So you get moments and segments of moments of your other self that's bleeding through.
Yeah.
So how do you merge? How do you come to grips with that with all yourselves? You just go, okay.
Well, at the beginning, when I could really remember both like reality now and and when I wasn't sure what else was happening, though it felt so real and was part of who I was. At the beginning, I thought I was nuts. I really did.
Yeah. I mean, it's some, you got to admit, people hearing this is some wild stuff. It is. Yeah. I mean,
it hasn't even gotten wild yet.
I mean, I know it goes deeper, but this is important because this is part of unlocking parts of our consciousness to say, at the very least, what is.
Yeah.
And they have technologies that they can use. So let me ask you this. Okay, so they picked you at 2, you agreed to it. Okay. So you're probably not the only one. Did you see other little pods there too? Yeah,
Well, I mean,
probably.
I wasn't
Probably.
paying any of that attention to that kind of
Okay.
thing.
Okay, that's fine. But what I'm saying, you're probably not the only one. That's all I'm
I'm
saying.
sure I'm not. When I was working with on the secret space program, one of my jobs was to erase memory or take memory out. I mean, I didn't enjoy doing it, although sometimes I felt I was doing service to somebody that was traumatized.
Yes,
Some of these
absolutely.
soldiers come back horrified and saw terrible things, and I'm like, oh, let me help you. We'll take it out. Of course, I only did what I was told to do, but the fact is I did feel like I was doing service at times. Sometimes they were begging me not to, and I didn't have a choice. I had to take them anyway. So that's where I was introduced to the deams device, and this is a deams device.
Oh my God. Okay, now tell us all about it. And is
This
that
one is
similar to
old,
what you used?
what they used it for was the whole memory transfer and soul transfer in the service.
Oh,
But the
oh
one
my
I
God.
built, this is what I wrote a contract with the government when I left and said, I'm going to release this to humanity. And they're like, that's fine. They signed the contract. They said, you're not going to remember it anyway. I'm like, yeah, I am.
You're like me. Yes,
like,
I am.
yeah, I am.
It's
They're like,
funny
no,
when
you're not.
your soul goes, yes, I am, because
Yes.
that means you are.
So I'm pretty sure I got a double dose of memory erasal, but because most of the stuff that they did, that's why I have a hard time remembering names, I think. But anyway, so
Got it. Okay.
I made a contract with them to release this, and what this is, it's technology given by other races. It's basically similar to the Ankh from Egypt. It does some of the same things. It's magnetic.
All right.
There's 13 magnets running in series here, creating a loop of energy, very, 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 very strong magnetic energy. And then this is also a magnet, and this magnet is polarized this way. So as the energy comes up and around, this one's pushing it that way, right? So it creates a vortex of energy. And that vortex comes out about that far. It's like a little, like a tornado,
Okay, right. That's how I was visualizing it.
Yeah.
Right. Like a,
And then
okay.
at the tip of that tornado
Like
is
a funnel. Like a funnel.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it's energy. So it's sucking in energy from this side, right? So this actually can penetrate the skin. It can, whatever, you can penetrate it. And what it does is the northern pole of the magnet where it comes out and the vortex is coming out, we would use that for pain relief, and it really does work. It relieves pain, but and the other side regenerates tissue. So because it's pulling energy out, right? So this is pushing energy in, because you can see the silver. This side,
the silver is, what side does that do?
This side, it's like a vacuum sucking in energy.
Okay.
And so when you put it against your skin, it pulls energy out like a vacuum.
And what does that do when it does that?
It regenerates tissue, helps
that
to
is
regenerate
cool.
tissue.
That is cool. Okay, what about inflammation? Everybody's got inflammation on planet Earth.
Yeah.
I really want mine gone.
Yeah.
Does that do that?
It does assist because what it does is it moves, and you can find this on the National Institute of Health, the National Library of Health, the neodymium magnets, which these are, helps to motivate and move away pain factors, inflammation, and moves it along. So it gets pooled and stuck. That's why we have pain, and then once stuff is stuck in here, it swells. When it swells, we get pain because it's pushing against the nerve.
I got it. It's like meridian points. It's stuck there.
It's exactly right.
It's like, oh, go here, attention, and so it doesn't know to move. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So I just made an agreement that because this also works with the chakras.
Okay.
Because it's piezoelectric energy, which is what our brain creates. Piezoelectric energy, and created in our pineal gland because we have calcite crystals in there. And when you put under hydraulic pressure, it's like a quartz. You know, if you hit a quartz with a stone, you'll see a spark.
Yes.
Because it creates energy. Well, it does the same thing in your brain. And this creates the same energy because there's piezoelectric energy, and that's what's in our nervous system. It's created in our brain. So I'll tell you how to create piezoelectric energy. It's either hit a quartz crystal with the stone, which we can't do, right, to heal ourselves. Or you take a magnet and force it to go against its polarity. So this is how the magnet wants to rest, okay?
Yeah.
So I take it and I turn it and I make it go this direction against its polarity. So it fights a little bit to go there.
It does.
And then when you do that, you're creating piezoelectric energy, which is the most natural energy in your body that you could possibly have.
So would it open your pineal gland or where it's calcified? Because we're constantly being like I stopped using aluminum, you know, back in the day, my mom used it, you know, Reynolds wrap. I'm like, no. But all these things that calcify, would it put up there and it would just spark it open?
It does help. I will say that with me, I haven't seen a difference because I was all this has been open for a long time.
You're kind of open. You're like,
so
I can't even close. I can't even close it now.
I cannot.
I'm seeing cryptids in the backyard. I can't close it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when I was a little kid, even as a kid, my third eye would be spinning and vibrating like a bee was there. And I would have to cover it just to go to sleep. I'd have to cover it up with my hands.
Interesting.
So it's been open forever. You know.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Mine too. Yeah. I just didn't want people to know stuff and things. But that is amazing. So people can buy that directly from you at the Deams company.
Yeah, deamscompany.com. I make every single one myself by hand.
Wow.
So, and they're not all gold. This one is gold plated. It's an option.
Okay.
They're a little bit expensive, but you know, they're expensive to make because they have 8 carats of diamonds in each and every one. Even the ones that are silver.
You're kidding. What does the diamonds do?
They help focus in the magnetic and piezoelectric energy.
Really?
Yeah.
I just would have never thought diamond versus crystal. Diamond was
really the best crystal you can use for focusing of energy.
So let me ask you this. We're going here. I remember doing first of all, I remember doing this medium demonstration, and I was wearing these. It was in the southern area, so I was wearing these big crosses. And then I had, should I wear like my sterling or should I wear my gold? So my guides one day started talking to me, and they said, "Well, we appreciate it. That's very nice. You wear your custom jewelry. Silver is neutral, but if you want to enhance your ability, wear your gold."
Yes.
And so that's why that's gold, because they said it will really amp it up. And also, I take Ormus gold. I take it, to open my pineal gland because you can drink gold. Yeah. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, I think you can take too much, so be careful. But I think it's a good idea. The thing, we've always heard. How long have we heard? Women live longer than men because they don't work as hard, which is utter BS.
Right. Yeah. Not really. Yeah. I don't. So what's the deal? Why?
Women wear more gold and diamonds.
Oh.
So I fully support you buying gold and diamonds. It is absolutely the best thing you can do on a passive way to extend your life.
Oh my God, that's what they told me, and they said no. They said it, and they said that it goes back to Egypt and before that Atlantis. But they said that's why you need to do it. So you know what you need to do? You need to look like, with the gold chains, like a rapper. That's what you need. You need to load it up, and then that'll really amp it up.
Walk around these huge chains.
Yeah, exactly. And then people like, you're setting a new trend. You're like, no, I'm trying to vibrate at a higher rate. So
mostly it's because the reason we have our wedding bands on our left hand is because that's where one of the places energy comes into the body, through the hand and through the shoulder.
Oh my God.
So you're pulling in the energy from diamonds and gold if you're wearing it on your left hand.
On the left, and then healing usually comes out from the right.
It comes out right through the heart, comes out the other hand,
and goes out here.
You can do this beam of energy. That's what I do when I do balancing and healing work with people.
Really? Okay, so tell everybody about your healing work, and then they'll want end off so you can go on your day. But I always love these images. I have these images like superheroes, like stuff coming out of my hands. I just love it. It's just cool. But why can't we help heal each other and heal ourselves?
Well, we can. You
Yeah.
just have to believe it's true.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's why you're here. So tell everybody about your services. I know you're so busy. I'm surprised you still do services because you do these talks all over the
Yeah.
place. So what kind of healing services do you offer?
Well, I just finished what I guess I don't like the term med bed, but it's a bed that you lay on, and there's several types of energy you're encased in a bubble of energy. It's open. It's not like you're in a tube. I can't do
Right,
that.
right. Yeah, no
But
tubes.
you have magnetic energy, piezoelectric energy. You have scalar and Rife energy, sonic energy, photonic energy, and that's about it. That's enough, right?
No, that's so cool. So
Yeah.
you were channeled that too. So I had Tesla come to me a few times. I'm like, and I felt I didn't want to be rude, but I was like, because first of all, I'm like Tesla, and I'm going, that's really nice you're telling me, but why are you telling me? Because I don't know anyone to produce this. So I do know a couple scientists, but they're not really interested. So
Yeah.
you were told to do this. Are you going to manufacture it all over the place so we can all get a part of that and purchase that, or
Yeah.
services, or be able to? Do you know what I mean? Buy time to go into these things.
Well, it does, and I've been supporting everything. That's where any deems that sold goes toward developing the bed and a
Okay,
healing.
good. That is great. That is
Yeah.
good. You need to really make that big because I was in marketing, a really big on your site because that's a really important thing for humanity.
Yeah. And so I mean, this is personal, but I literally for 4 years haven't taken a salary because
Mm,
every
God
single penny
bless you.
goes in toward developing this.
I know. I'm not surprised. You're that
Um,
quality person. I get it. And guess what? We're looking at the timeline. I mean, right? We need to make sacrifices to make it
yeah.
go well,
Yeah.
right? And we're
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's like I like nice things. No doubt. I have nice things.
sure.
But they don't mean anything.
Well, we're not
I just
taking that,
enjoy them while I'm here.
but we take our spiritual knowledge, right, and our accomplishments and the spiritual decisions, which is really strange to think about it. They're being archived, everything we say and do, and I'm like,
Yeah.
gosh, I got to hear that back. I'm like, say a bunch of dumb stuff, but I'm like, oh, great, my life review is going to be
Go
like,
through that when I
it's
die.
going to be like hee haw. Anyway, oh my gosh. So, but this is helping people and you're helping people. Do you have any projects that you want to tell people or anything you're involved for them to participate in?
Well, right now I'm still doing trials on the bed. It's fully operational. I work with my engineer and my friend, and his name's Lawrence Bayshore, and he has the photonic part of the bed. That was his invention, and I had the other stuff. And then we met one another, and we're like, "Wait, you have half of it. I have the other half of it." So let's get together.
Oh, that is beautiful
Yeah,
synchronicity. What a beautiful partnership.
yeah, and he's the same way. I mean, he doesn't take any kind of salary whatsoever, and because we're really just trying to make this stuff available. Having said that, what my plan and hope and goal is to continue to develop it and create healing centers that actually work with trauma, work with old life, past life stuff, so that you can begin to let it go now, so your body can begin to heal.
Oh, wow, I just feel that really in my heart. That feels so
Yeah.
powerful. And you really need it everywhere because I know a lot of people on the West Coast. I know you're in Hawaii, but there's people on the East Coast here too. We need that as well.
Yeah.
And we need it really in key, just like we need to be in key points and
Yeah.
in different areas. Well, I'll support you when I can I can list it on my Seeking Heaven channel. I'll be happy to help promote it. I mean, it's a thing that's going to help humanity, and I commend you. And at some point,
Yeah.
it will. You're not doing it for a profit, but at some point, with time, maybe so everything will work out. But for right now, you're just trying to get it up and going.
Just trying to get it there. Yeah. So it grows as it grows, and the progress is what it is. And
It's your baby.
yeah.
It's your baby it's your child for humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's really why I'm here, and all of the experiences I've had, the reason I've decided to share them is because I would like people to learn what I learned without having to go through the experience.
You know what?
That's possible.
You can. And the other thing that I've noticed recently, especially if someone has trauma, you can experience it from that little child perspective or a third person perspective. You can switch it, and you don't have to experience the full pain. You can say, okay, I acknowledge the pain. There it is. It was kind of awful. Okay, I'm going to pull back some of that emotion so I don't have to feel it all. And I think people don't really realize that. And you can also learn from someone else and avoid the whole thing. So we don't, I think the whole point is the pain and suffering aspect. We need to change the dynamics of that.
I mean, it isn't necessary. We make it necessary.
Yeah. I mean, it's because I guess we're thick-headed. You know, we say, oh, we're going to really make an example. So I think that you are phenomenal, what you're doing, who you are, how you're speaking your story, which is still evolving. You're still evolving.
Yeah.
And I just thank you for your time and who you are.
Oh, it's been absolute pleasure. I got kind of excited a few times, and I like that. You know?
Oh, that's good. Because I really wanted to have this conversation. I wanted people to see you and to hear us talking and just, you know, being in the moment. And people are asking these questions already. They really are. They're very alert at what's going on. And I'm sure there a lot of people are going to be really turned on to your product because it's going to help. So thank you so much. You're welcome back anytime. If you have a topic, you want to promote something, you're welcome back anytime.
Oh, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
I did too. Thank you, Chris. Bye. Please subscribe, like, and make comments, and support this channel by becoming a member. Thank you for your continued support.